Hello everybody and welcome back to the Dragon's Library. So today, I'm going to be talking about Disenchantment, the second Netflix show I have reviewed in a row because for some reason Netflix decided all the good stuff is going to come out now. Well, okay, good might be a bit of an overstatement with Disenchantment, but I do like the show, so let's get into it. So, for those of you who don't know, Disenchantment Part 5 is the fifth part, i.e. the 10 episode blocks Netflix releases, because for some reason Part 1 and 2 is Season 1, Part 2 and 3 is Season 2, and Part 5 is just Season 3 on its own, because Netflix, I guess. Anyway, Disenchantment is made by Matt Groening for Netflix. It was a sort of spiritual successor to Futurama, actually. This is the same guy who was one of the main creators behind the show, Futurama, and Disenchantment is essentially what if it was fantasy instead of sci-fi. It follows Princess Tiabini, who's, it's the princess, but it's the tomboy princess who doesn't really want to deal with this shit. So she's constantly running out and getting drunk and stuff in pubs. You also have a Elfo, and a small little demon who is supposed to be Bean's personal demon before kind of becoming her friend and also bad influence because, demon. Lucy. Not Lucifer, that Lucifer shows up later. It's a completely different thing. The first few seasons of this show were set in this fantasy kingdom of Dreamland where magic kind of exists, but it's like, there are a bunch of magical creatures and stuff, but the court wizard is a complete fraud. So, there's actual magic and the wizard can't do it. It's great, I love it. Anyway, the first few seasons had teased a recurring mystery with the essentially Bean's mother Dagmar in the first few seasons. Spoiler, by the way, for seasons 1 and 2, i.e. parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so long story short, Dagmar, Bean's mother, was actually from another kingdom, and they had made a pact with Hell, and, the devil, Lucifer, to steal Dreamland's magic. So she seduced the king, who was kind of an idiot, and put a petrification potion in his drink. Except Bean switched the glasses around, because she was a child playing around, and, Dagmar drank the one that was cursed and got petrified. At the end of season 1, essentially revived Dagmar using Elfo's blood. It's a long story, it's really not important. But essentially Dagmar revealed that she was evil, Bean caught wise, Zod got killed but not, Elfo came back to life, things happened. Long story short of the previous seasons, Bean has magic powers, she's involved in a plot by Dagmar to wed her to Satan, so they can then put some kind of torturous crown that literally screws into your head on her, which will essentially allow her to use her powers and become immortal, and also give Dagmar eternal beauty, youth, and immortality, and allow her to conquer Dreamland and the rest of the world. Basically, she may have bargained with Satan for power. Bean is supposed to be a sacrificial pawn for that, but she doesn't really want to do that. Now, this was actually kind of interesting because we had the whole escape from Satan's wedding thing at the end of season 3, and then at the end of season 4, we actually had Bean's evil dream self. Basically, she confronted an evil dream version of herself that managed to escape the dream realm, and her mom was like, oh cool, an evil version of you. Yeah, I'll take that one. This one's my daughter now. Okay. But Bean decapitated that one, so the end of the season had Dagmar, who was tricked into marrying Satan instead of Bean because Bean managed to trick her, and the severed head of Evil Bean. Now she's looking for the body so she can put Evil Bean's head back on and have an evil's, daughter she's always wanted to wield the dark magic. It's a weird show. It has a very much like that Futurama vibe of being very relaxed and chilled and then just fucking insane the next moment. And I kind of like it. Most of the characters are pretty funny, although I will say a lot of their jokes get a little tired sometimes, particularly Elfo. I get that he's supposed to be kind of pathetic and annoying, but they did it a little too well. Like, it would be like if Zoidberg from Futurama was in like every episode as in place of like Leela or Bender or Fry. And it was just Zoidberg there. And I'm like, okay, Zoidberg is fine in small doses, but like he's really pathetic. You don't want him as a main character. At least I didn't enjoy it. And that's how I kind of feel about Elfo. I like it when he's kind of being I'm the elf that's into things that elves aren't supposed to be into, because he's like, ironically, for being like the pure wholesome elf, also got kicked out, but for fucking someone he wasn't supposed to. So it's like, okay, that makes some sense. But at the same time, it's like, he's just so pathetic. Lucy, on the other hand, is definitely my favorite secondary character. Basically, he's a demon, but he's kind of grown a conscience. But he's still very much a demon. He enjoys taking the most chaotic and kind of cruel option possible. He's very eager to set things on fire. but he's also there for his friends now, and ironically gets sent to heaven. Twice. Yes, the demon goes to heaven, gets brought back down as a favor from God, and then goes back to heaven, and Stone Cold kills God with a goddamn rock. Only to bring him back because he doesn't want the universe to die after all. It's great. Lucy is one of, if not my favorite character in the whole thing. Bean is just fine. I enjoy her, struggle with, like, I don't want the world to burn, I don't want my mom to win, but I also really, really don't want to be in charge of this shithole. I'd rather go off my mermaid girlfriend and just live my life in quiet, which, spoiler alert, she actually does get by the end of this. And Season 5 is also where they find, Part 5 is finally where they get to actually start answering a lot of the questions. We find out where Bean got her magic from, what's the deal with Dreamland's magic, why the Steamland people are after them, the whole deal the Dagmar made, what she wanted, what the crown did. All those answers actually get told. And Season 5 is, surprise, surprise, the series finale of Disenchantment, which I'm actually on board with. Shows that go on and on forever and constantly tease out some greater mystery that eventually we'll explain are boring. They're horrible and I hate them because they constantly tease progress and then restores the status quo. It's not fun. It's just annoying. If you're going to have an overarching mystery in your show, you need to give people answers. And 5 seasons, I'll admit it, if this season hadn't given us major answers or ended the show, I would have probably stopped watching afterwards. Because at a certain point, you can only tease Bean got angry and lightning shot out of her fingers, what the hell is this, so many times. But they did give us answers. Bean started to make progress with her powers in this season and finally had to climb back to battle with Dagmar, and I'm okay with that. I think it works. So, all in all, Season 5 is definitely a fun ride. I will say that Disenchantment, for all its flaws, which it can be a bit slow at times, some of the characters can be annoying, the writing can feel a bit, maybe not even the writing, it's more the pacing can feel a bit slow and stop and start, and a lot of times you just want to move on to something else. But if you enjoy the Futurama style of comedy, if you can, like weird fantasy parodies, it's a fun show. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the best thing ever or, an amazing groundbreaking piece of work. Sometimes a show can just be pretty good, and I'll put it on because I enjoy the characters and think it's funny. So, yeah, it's a good show with some good writing and fun characters. 8 out of 10? Yeah, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. I really liked the Dagmar's fate in the end. She actually gets her immortality, but she also pissed off her new husband, the devil. So when she asked him for a favor, let's just say she got an ironic twist out of it. It was very nice. Moving on from there, we have the announcements. Okay, so I'm probably going to have a dull book review coming out soon because Murtaugh is about to come out. It's coming out in like 4 days. I should be getting my copy of the book soon. I'm so excited because Christopher Paolini was like my childhood idol when it comes to fantasy. One of the first things that got me reading as a child was Aragon and Eldest. So Christopher Paolini getting a new book in his fantasy world as opposed to that Sea of Stars thing, which was okay. It was fine. But I'm really excited to see what he does with Murtaugh. I'm very hopeful he'll still be able to recapture that magic. And I'm thinking about doing a retrospective of the Inherent Cycle books. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that out in the next week because I'm going to be really busy. I have someone coming over, so I'm kind of hosting. But I am hopeful that I will be able to do something before Murtaugh comes out. If not, before I review it. In addition to that, I'm not going to be streaming next week because I'm going to be having someone over. I'm going to be busy, so streams will not resume until November 14th. Moving from there, we have the outro. We have a video YouTube recommends up here and a playlist of all the stuff I've done this year. And then at the bottom is a subscribe board. Click on it, subscribe, go to my channel, watch all my other stuff. We have this awesome new video about this cool other Netflix show, which is Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remake, which is one of the coolest things ever. Go check that out. See you guys next time.